She told me not to propose, saying her friends would mock the ring I could afford. So I didn't. A year later, I proposed to someone else with a $12,000 ring at the same restaurant. She was seated 2 tables away. Hey everyone, a quick shout out. Over 14% of you are subscribed, and it means everything to me. If you're new here and like these stories, please join the crew by hitting that subscribe button. We're aiming for 10,000 subscribers. Just got back from the most incredible dinner of my life, and I had to share this with someone. My new fiancée is sleeping with her ring on, and my ex is probably wide awake after what went down. Let me take you back to the start. 3 years ago, I was with Sarah, 27F, for about a year and a half. I'm 31M, a software developer, earning roughly $72,000 back then. Sarah worked in advertising for a trendy company, always obsessed with how things looked and what others thought. We were at that stage where everyone expected a proposal. Her friends kept asking when I'd pop the question. Her mom dropped subtle hints, the whole thing. So I started saving for a ring. After crunching numbers, I could manage a $2,800 ring without going broke or draining my savings. It wasn't massive, but it was respectable for my budget. I found a lovely ring at a local jeweler. Nice stone, timeless design, great quality for the price. The jeweler walked me through the details, and I was thrilled to surprise Sarah with it. Here's where it all fell apart. Sarah's birthday was approaching, and we were dining at Giovanni's, this fancy Italian spot she adored. I planned to propose that night, ring tucked in my jacket, reserved her favorite table. Over dessert, I started talking about our future, how happy she made me, how I envisioned us growing old together, setting the mood. Then Sarah got this serious expression and said we needed to talk. What's wrong? Well, my friend Emily got engaged recently, and honestly, her ring was pathetic. Like embarrassingly small. She hides it when we're out. My heart sank, but I kept my face blank. That's rough. Look, Jake, I know you're thinking about proposing, and you need to understand my friends would totally judge whatever ring you can buy right now. It'd be mortifying for us both. The ring in my pocket suddenly felt like a brick. So, you're saying don't propose because you'd be ashamed of what I can afford? I'm saying wait a few years until you're more secure. Look around this place. See those couples? The women have real rings, impressive ones. I can't show up to parties with something tiny just because you're not there financially yet. I scanned the restaurant, saw the couple she meant, then looked back at her dead serious face. You're telling me not to propose because you'd be embarrassed by my budget. I'm telling you to be practical about where you're at. There's no harm in waiting until you can do it right. The waiter brought the bill. I paid it quietly, drove Sarah home without a word. Are you upset? She asked as I walked her to her door. Nope, I said. You made your priorities crystal clear. That night, I returned the ring, got a full refund, no hassle. I also started reflecting hard on what Sarah had revealed. She cared more about her friends' opinions than about being engaged to me. She valued the image of wealth over our actual bond. 2 weeks later, I ended it. This is about that ring talk, isn't it? She said. It's about seeing what you truly value. Jake, I was being realistic. I didn't want you wasting money on something I'd be ashamed to wear. Thanks for the honesty. She tried to soften it. Said she'd had a rough day, didn't mean it like that. But some words can't be undone. She'd shown me exactly how she viewed me and our relationship. We can fix this, she kept saying. No, we can't. Take care, Sarah. Clean break, no contact. Update 1. Life got so much better after Sarah. When you're not constantly trying to please someone who's never happy, you can focus on real growth. I dove into my job and started freelancing on weekends. Nothing wild, just small website gigs for local shops. The extra cash was nice, but the real win was sharpening my skills and building a name for myself. About 8 months after the breakup, I met Emily, 29F, at a coffee shop near my office. She was there most mornings, working on her laptop, running her own consulting gig. We started chatting, which turned into coffee dates, then proper dates. Emily was the opposite of Sarah in every way that counted. She drove a dependable older car, she maintained herself, lived frugally to grow her business, bought durable clothes instead of chasing fads. Most importantly, she never made me feel like I had to prove my value through money. We'd go hiking instead of hitting pricey restaurants, cook together instead of ordering takeout, find free events around town. Not because we were stingy, but because we genuinely loved each other's company. Emily's business was online marketing for small companies. She'd launched it 2 years prior and was steadily growing through solid work and word of mouth. I was doing all right too. The freelance gigs brought in an extra $1,200 a month, and I got a small raise, bumping my salary to $78,000. Not rolling in wealth, but definitely more comfortable. By month 12, I knew Emily was my forever person. Not because I had to prove anything, but because she was the one I wanted by my side for life. We clicked perfectly. She was driven but grounded. She cheered my ambitions and I cheered hers. We were building something real, not just trying to look successful. The ring shopping this time was entirely different. Emily had mentioned she loved vintage designs, thought modern rings could be too showy. So, I visited antique shops and estate jewelers, found the stunning 1940s ring. Elegant setting, classic look, beautifully crafted. The seller showed me its appraisal papers, confirmed it came from a trusted estate. It cost $4,200 but had more charm than anything new in that price range. Emily would adore it. I planned to propose at a quiet park we loved walking in. Nothing fancy, just us and a perfect sunset. Then life threw me a twist. Update 2 years and 3 months later. Fast forward to 6 months ago. My freelance work had grown, pulling in an extra $15,000 a year. Emily's business was now earning her about $65,000 annually. Together, we were in a great spot financially, but more importantly, we were happy. I'd been planning the proposal for months. Had the ring. Had spoken to Emily's parents. Everything was set. Then Emily mentioned a long-term client wanted to treat her team to dinner to celebrate a big project milestone. The client was a mid-sized marketing firm downtown. Guess where they were going? Giovanni's. The same restaurant where Sarah told me not to propose. Nice spot, I said, keeping it cool. When's the dinner? Next Thursday. Should be a good time. It's a big client, so they're going all out. An idea sparked. A really good idea. I called Giovanni's and booked a table for the same Thursday, an hour after Emily's dinner was set to start. I figured they'd be wrapping up as we arrived. Emily thought it was sweet that I wanted to have our own celebratory dinner that night. She had no clue about my history with Sarah or that restaurant. Thursday night, we dressed up and headed to Giovanni's. Emily looked stunning in a navy dress she'd worn to another client event. Polished and professional. We were seated, and I spotted Emily's client group across the restaurant. About 8 people at a large table, clearly finishing their meal. Emily waved at her client contacts when she saw them. Warm and professional. We ordered dinner, and I was getting nervous about the proposal. Ring in my pocket. Words rehearsed. The moment felt massive. Halfway through our meal, I noticed someone familiar at the client table. It took a second, but then it hit me. It was Sarah. She must have landed a job at Emily's client's company. Small world, but not impossible in our city's marketing circle. Sarah saw me at the same time. I saw her face shift from confusion to recognition to shock when she noticed Emily. You all right? Emily asked. You seemed distracted. Just thinking about dessert, I said, not entirely lying. Sarah's group was wrapping up, preparing to leave. Perfect timing. When the waiter brought our dessert, I knew it was now or never. I reached into my jacket, pulled out the ring box. Emily's eyes widened. Jake, what's this? Something I've been planning for a while. I got down on one knee right there in the restaurant. A few nearby tables turned to watch. Emily, you're the most amazing woman I've ever known. You push me to be better every day. You support my dreams, and I want to support yours forever. Will you marry me? The ring sparkled in the candlelight. Vintage design, gorgeous stone, exactly Emily's taste. Yes, absolutely yes. A few people nearby started clapping. Emily was crying happy tears. I might have been too. The waiter brought champagne to toast. I could see Sarah's group had paused their exit to watch. Sarah was staring at the ring, clearly processing what she was witnessing. Emily was admiring her ring, snapping photos, calling her parents. Everything in engagement should be joyful, authentic, a celebration of our future. This is the most beautiful ring I've ever seen, Emily said. How did you know exactly what I'd want? Because I listened to what matters to you. Sarah's group finally left, but I caught her glancing back as they walked out. We stayed another hour sipping champagne, basking in the moment. Emily was radiant with joy. On the drive home, Emily kept staring at her ring. I can't believe you pulled this off. When did you even find time to pick something this perfect? I've been searching for months, wanted it to be just right. It's absolutely perfect. Final update 3 months later. The engagement has been everything I dreamed of. Emily and I are deep in wedding planning, set a date for next spring, booked a great venue and started our guest list. All the happy chaos of planning a life with someone you truly want to marry. The ring has gotten incredible reactions. Emily's friends, her family, her coworkers, everyone loves it. Turns out, when you pick something thoughtful instead of just costly, people notice. A few weeks after the proposal, Emily mentioned that some folks from her client's company asked about the engagement. Word got around about the restaurant moment. One woman was really curious, Emily said. Asked tons of questions about how long we've been together, what you do, stuff like that. I had a hunch that was Sarah, but I kept quiet. Emily doesn't need to know about old drama. My career's been on an upswing. The freelance work led to a better job at a new company. Now earning $92,000 plus. Still taking on side gigs. Emily's business is booming too. She's hired a part-time assistant. We're doing well financially, but more importantly, we're building a life on shared values and true partnership. I heard through a friend that Sarah was asking around about me. Wanted to know if I was doing better now, and if Emily came from wealth. Classic Sarah, still fixated on the money angle instead of what really counts. The truth is, the ring wasn't about rubbing anything in Sarah's face. It was about showing Emily how much I cherish her and our bond. That Sarah happened to see it was just a bonus. Emily and I are planning our honeymoon now. Thinking Portugal, maybe Spain. Places we want to explore together, not places to show off. Sarah can keep obsessing over appearances and what others think. Emily and I are building a marriage worth having. The best part isn't that I proved something to Sarah. It's that I found someone who valued me from the start. 3 years ago, I was ready to propose to someone who was ashamed of what I could afford. Last month, I proposed to someone who was overjoyed by what I picked just for her. The difference between settling and finding the right person changes everything. Sarah taught me to spot when someone's values don't match yours. Emily showed me what it feels like when they do. The ring on Emily's finger is more than an engagement. It's proof that walking away from the wrong person leads you to the right one. Sarah saw that proof from across the restaurant. Sometimes, the best revenge is simply living well with someone who deserves your best.